Hello everyone and welcome back to the Rock, North Carolina Speedway in Rockingham, North Carolina for the Pop Secret Microwave Popcorn 400. How much more early 2000s of a name could get? The next best thing, the thing in succession I think for a name like Pop Secret Microwave Popcorn 400 is just straight up Blockbuster 400, although honestly, I'm pretty sure that Blockbuster actually sold Act 2. In fact, Act 2 is one of the popcorns I remember most as a kid. In fact, I remember as a kid, it was either Act 2 or Orville Redenbacher's. Pop Secret for us was more of a recent thing, but yeah, that exists. Indeed. Pop Secret Microwave Popcorn 400. Incidentally, that ends up being the name of the race at California Speedway. Or at least it is in the movie Herbie Fully Loaded, which you probably also remember if you grew up in the 2000s and were a NASCAR fan. Which I wasn't, but it did happen to be one of the movies we owned on DVD. And I've always been a big fan of racing in general. Sort of. It's a long story. I mean, what is there to the story? Two of my favorite games on Namco Museum on GameCube were Pole Position and Pole Position 2, and I also loved Hot Wheels, especially Ferrari. I mean, that along with the Lego Ferrari sets that I own too. Well, without any further hesitation, it's the GOAT on pole. What a terrifying thought, but it's something we have to live with. Eli Wolf starts alongside. We got Gil Samaya and Christian Bracken in the second row. Patrick Smith, second in the points, starts in the third row alongside Joey Trickle. Now, where is Eric Monica? We'll soon find out. Because we've got Gerald Pepper, we've got Annie Thomas, we've got Max Davis and Steve Morgan. We got Harvey and Voiles, Shadowald and PK, Evans and Allen, Tyke and Burnett, Cropley, Austin, Zane, Charlebois, Burley, Özkan, Langestein, Jana Fogelman, Lego, Jenkins, Bob and Flobo, Reggie Fogelman. We got Sato, and there he is, Eric Monaco, your points leader. Did not have a very good qualifying result, and he starts in the bottom 10 in this race. In fact, there's Hicks and Whitlock, Ebrahimian and Franco, Wells and Johnson, and rounding out the field, as usual, White and Sallin. 99 laps once again. This was the second race of the season. It is the second to last race of the season now. The gentlemen and ladies, of course, have started their engines, and they're off out of pit road. I realize it's been a while since I've provided a sort of proper insight into my feelings about the track and such, and about the race, which I was more consistent at doing early in the season. But yeah, I think at first I wasn't very good at Rockingham, and I think right now I still really am not. I think I kind of just got lucky in qualifying. I was nearly beaten to the pole by Samaya, but then I managed to improve on the second lap, which was happy days. Well, pace cars in. Green flag is out. We are underway for the penultimate race of the season. There you go, second to last. Doesn't sound nearly as professional as penultimate. It's an excellent start from the GOAT, leaving the field in the dust. Look at the speed these cars are carrying through down this short straight, the back straight of this racetrack. It seems very impressive. It's an amazing sense of speed, and more importantly, obviously the inside line where the GOAT began, having a much better start to the race. Now here comes Gil Samaya on the inside of Eli Wolf right away. Gil Samaya started behind the GOAT. Wolf alongside, remember. Again, look at the cars. Just, it's like they're on slot car tracks, actually. Gil Samaya takes second place here. Joey Trickle moving up to third. It's the Jasper Motorsports cars up at the top of the field. It's been a while since we've seen them running together like this. In fact, it's been an even longer while, I think, since we've seen Estacio PK running up front with Eli Wolf. There you can see him in the background. Things getting quite a bit bunched up at the back of the field here. Let's have a look. You see the drivers taking all sorts of different lines through the turns here. You can see some people running 3 wide in a lot of places, still 2 wide, and many as well. Brittany White up to 32nd from the back row. Montero Selling also off of the back row as well there. Adalberto Franco, he's up in 29th place on the start there. More importantly, he's still ahead of Eric Monaco. Look at that. Adalberto Franco ahead of Eric Monaco. That gives you an idea of just what sort of struggles that Monaco's having with the car right now. He obviously did not. He was unable to put in a good qualifying time. He got bested by a number of drivers here, and he's having a tough time making his way through the field. Not so with Patrick Smith. Patrick Smith actually falling behind a number of positions. I believe he did. Remember, he started 6th in this race, I believe. Now he finds himself down in 11th for 12th, in fact. 12th there because, yeah. Gerald Pepper passed Chris Harvey for 10th spot here. Smith potentially under pressure from Morgan and Özkan. Again, look at these drivers taking up all the outside line as much as possible. Not sure what sorts of wonders that's doing for their speed at present, but obviously if they think it's a good line, then they'll go for it. Maybe some bit of help. Eric Monaco actually is now making his way through the field. I mean, the benchmark here for now is Adalberto Franco, who again is showing in a rather incredible sense of pace right now. Something we haven't seen from him since the first race at Rockingham, in fact, where Franco, I believe, was actually running up at the front of the field. So perhaps this is just his track. Who knows? Eric Monaco having to fend off Riley Spurley here. Now, as you can see, it's the 2 Richard Petty cars in the bottom 2 positions in the field right now. What a shame. I mean, look at Dodge here. Dodge is either at the front of the field, as they are with drivers like Max Davis and, well, Bracken and Monaco, of course, but they're at the back of the field with, you know, Richard Petty and, sadly, in a lot of cases, Chip Ganassi and Penske. Eric Monaco up to 29th. I believe his starting position was 32nd? 30th. So 32nd, I believe. But yeah, Franco up to 23rd. That seems more of a. That seems like more of an indictment of these drivers right here. 4 Chevy cars. Richard Childress, Hendrick, and Joe Gibbs, who have been outpaced by Adalberto Franco. Again, Adalberto Franco, I guess this really is his track. He is in tune with it right now. Good stuff there. Not going to complain about that at all. Adalberto Franco, you know, in with a shout of finally jumping up from last place in the point standings. I'm going to go back to the front of the field here. The GOAT still leading quite comfortably for now. He has the fastest lap of the race as well, but look how close these lap times are. 2/10 separate the top 10 positions in the 20s. Well, the teens and then the 20s. Very close together. Every fastest lap is under 24 seconds, but Leroy Jenkins does appear to be one of the slowest cars out on track. Adalberto Franco, meanwhile, the 21st fastest lap, and Monaco only the 26th, so consistently lapping a number of tenths slower than the drivers at the front of the field, where he needs to be. Take a look at your running order real fast here. The GOAT leads this race. He's led 12 of 99 laps so far. Gil Samaya and Joey Trickle run 2nd and 3rd. Eli Wolf in 4th there. Max Davis 5th. Andy Thomas 6th. Christian Bracken 7th. Lucas Evans 8th. Gerald Pepper 9th. And Chris Harvey rounds out your top 10. Patrick Smith in 11th here. Steve Morgan 12th. Ashley Schadewald 13th. Samet Özkan 14th there. Behind him, Austin, Reggie Fogelman, Cropley, Voiles, Burnett, and Jana Fogelman to round out your top 20. Bottom 20 here, we have Taiki and Allen duking it out for 21st. Adalberto Franco in 23rd. Charlebois, Zane, Monaco, PK, Spurley, Wells, Whitlock, Futlego, Ibrahimian, Hicks, Sato, Flobo, Langestein, White, and Jenkins running out the field as mentioned. Sallin and Johnson. GOAT has led 14 laps so far here. Doesn't show very many signs of letting up on his race lead here. But yeah, again, you can see an impeccable sense of speed that we're getting on this short track. 1.017 miles. Top speed's only about perhaps 170, and that's a bit of a stretch here. We'll follow Lucas Evans here. He's under pressure from Ashley Schadewald, of course. Chris Harvey is seems to have fallen behind a few positions there. 168 Lucas Evans attains before slowing for turns 3 and 4 there. It looks like he's going to crack under the pressure and lose that position to Schadeveld, so perhaps Schadeveld's sense of speed was something better worth taking a look at. 173 miles an hour, again, in that little speed trap. You could say, how about the GOAT here? The GOAT usually has the distinction of being faster through the turns than he is down the straights, and perhaps that's true today. Can he get 170 through? Only 170. In fact, Gil Samaya does appear to be closing the gap, and we can hear some squealing from the GOAT's tires there, so perhaps he's not quite as in tune at the track as we were hoping from the man starting on pole position here. Obviously, the GOAT struggling a little bit in practice here. Meanwhile, we managed to miss Joey Trickle shipping 2 positions to Wolf and Davis. That's Joey Trickle down to 5th spot now, and he's probably not going to be the least bit pleased about that. More importantly, Patrick Smith up in 9th here, and of course, even if the GOAT wins, the higher up Patrick Smith finishes, the smaller the yeah. You probably know what I mean.
No, Aaron, we don't.
If Patrick Smith finishes up higher in the field, then the distance between the GOAT and Patrick Smith in the points attained will be shorter. Because Patrick Smith is ahead of the GOAT in the points. Obviously, if the GOAT finishes higher, he closes that gap. But if Smith finishes higher, then he sort of dilutes the... There has to be a simpler way to describe the phenomenon I'm referring to right now. Oh my days. Need some coffee here. In fact, I need to drink all of this before it gets cold. Gil Samaya catching up to the GOAT here, so I really do need to finish my coffee now. Here we go. Yeah, getting colder, I should say. The higher up Patrick Smith finishes relative to the GOAT, the less damage the GOAT does to Patrick Smith's points lead over him in the standings. And obviously, Eric Monaco, who's only running 25th right now, obviously that's obviously better than his starting position, but that means that both Patrick Smith and the GOAT will close their gaps, finishing ahead of him in today's race. We're at the approaching the 25% point of this race here, and Gil Samaya still following very closely behind the GOAT here. We're going to ride on board with Max Davis, actually, and have a look at the fight for the top 3 positions here. Gil Samaya almost in of a shout there into turn 1. I think the GOAT actually slowing for the turns much earlier than Gil Samaya, so these drivers behind the GOAT clearly have a little bit more sense of the grip on this racetrack here. Eli Wolf following very closely behind Gil Samaya, ready to jump back into second place at a moment's notice. You can see the top 5 here separating themselves from the rest of the field. More importantly, let's have a look at where Eric Monaco is. Still running 25th, but still running behind Adalberto Franco. Imagine that. I suppose in a sense that you don't really have to because it's happening right now, but it's all abstract in one or two senses. GOAT still has the fastest lap. These drivers here behind the GOAT actually lapping a little bit faster is the sense we're getting right now. It's in the scale of the hundredths right now, but again, the GOAT struggling to maintain the gap to the drivers behind, the gap that he managed to build out in the first few laps of this race. So obviously, tire wear, I believe, proving an issue once again for the GOAT and his sense of speed around this racetrack here. Go to 172. Samaya probably made it there. In fact, actually this time around, the GOAT lapping faster than the drivers behind him. Again, fighting for dear life to maintain this gap. Eric Monaco up to 24th, but Alberto Franco to 21st. See the two Richard Petty cars rounding turns 3 and 4 here. So it looks as if very soon the leaders are going to be coming up on the back of the field. Gil Samaya having a look at the inside. Definitely have a little he has the better acceleration. He has the better line to the turn here. To the inside, down turn 2, down the back stretch. Is that Gil Samaya to the lead now? The GOAT for nose in front. Takes the outside line, doesn't have much choice there, bangs into Wolf's car. The GOAT loses to lead to Gil Samaya. He loses second place to Eli Wolf. He could lose third to Davis here. The GOAT dropping 3 positions in 1 lap. Gil Samaya now leads the race. Eli Wolf to second, Max Davis third. Joey Trickle also getting past the GOAT. Something gone wrong with the GOAT here. Again, the tire wear most likely the big issue for him. Running side by side with Joey Trickle, he falls behind. And that's the GOAT losing 4 positions in the space of 2 laps. I think we saw this coming. But yeah, there you go. Gil Samaya to the race lead here. The GOAT dropping down to 5th. And again, this is not what he needs right now. Only 2 positions behind Patrick Smith, his primary rival in the points race right now. Of course, Smith has more to worry about from Eric Monaco, who could very well be breaking into the top 20 at some point here. He's up to 23rd now. Remember, he was 25th a few laps ago. More importantly, Gil Samaya has a semi-decent gap at present to Eli Wolf in second place here. Max Davis runs 3rd, Joey Trickle 4th, and the GOAT 5th. Bracken 6th, Smith 7th, Morgan 8th, Pepper 9th, and Harvey rounds out your top 10. Thomas, Özkan Evans, Reggie Fogelman, Schadeveld, Cropley, Austin, Burnett, Voiles, and Jana Fogelman make up the rest of the top 20 here. Here's Eric Monaco right behind Alberto Franco. Jana Fogelman in 20th spot. That's going to be the position that Monaco's looking at next. Don't think he's going to face very much resistance getting past this Kiko Man car here. Get Joe Allen following right behind Eric Monaco, giving a little bit of support to his fellow Dodge driver, but obviously possibly looking to advance his own position. And well, if Monaco's got one of the fastest cars out on track right now, then Joe Allen is definitely going to be helped. Following closely behind, more importantly, Ari Taiki also getting past Alberto Franco right now, so perhaps Franco's pace wearing off at the moment. Charlebois and Piquet could very easily get past at a moment's notice. Almost looked as if Franco tapped the outside wall. Possibly not here, but Spurley, Wells, Lego, Hicks, Flobo, Zane, Langestein, White, Jenkins, Ibrahimian, Sato, Whitlock, Sallin, and Johnson make up the rest of the field here. And that's Gil Samaya on the front stretch, along with Johnson, who went through turn one here. Bit of slipping up with the voice and whatever. The GOAT is able to He's able to bin. I can speak the English today. Running side by side with Max Davis here. Has the better of him for now, but Davis is probably going to go for that inside line. He backs off. Has to go back into 3rd for now. He files in front. Good stuff there from the GOAT. He's back in 3rd place here. Max Davis looking at him once again, though. Down the inside, Joey Trickle and Max Davis, I think, carrying a little bit more speed down the front stretch, as mentioned previously. Gil Samaya going to have to contend with the 2 Richard Petty cars any moment now. Joe Allen actually ahead of Eric Monaco in 21st. Monaco 22nd there. Alberto Franco close behind, so he's been able to fend off Arya Taiki for now. See how that shapes up when the positions update here. There they are. Allen getting past Monaco there. Probably not what most of us would have expected. Good stuff. Oh dear, that's the GOAT running right into Eli Wolf's rear end and doing his good work from the previous few laps. He managed to get past Trickle and Davis, but he ran into Wolf's rear end there. Looked quite unsettled. Could have nearly taken Wolf out. I'm just certain that both drivers are very pleased with themselves, that they're still running this race right now and not in the wall or spinning across the track. Or it's definitely not onto the racing line here. Once again, the GOAT dealing with Davis. Samaya and Wolf are both past Johnson here. The GOAT able to get past Davis as well. Now, Christian Bracken and Patrick Smith seemingly coming out of nowhere, taking advantage of the situation here. Joey Trickle runs 3 wide of Bracken and Smith. Both drivers going to be able to get past him without much issue here. Steve Morgan could well have a shout at getting past Joey Trickle, who runs the outside line there. He's showing good pace still. Oh, ooh, contact with Pepper and Bracken. That could have been a disaster, but Pepper saving it. Patrick Smith is past Joey Trickle here. Bracken losing out at the end of this exchange, ultimately. The GOAT has been able to get past Eli Wolf. He's back in second now. More importantly, Patrick Smith up to 5th again, cutting through the little advantage the GOAT is trying to gain on him in the points here. Just like the GOAT's win at Phoenix, it really doesn't mean much if either Smith or Monaco can finish up high in the field, and obviously that's what Smith's on target to do right now. More importantly, he does need, of course, to get back into the lead, which he lost to Gil Samaya about 15 laps ago. Steve Morgan ahead of Christian Bracken here. Joey Trickle falling behind Gerald Pepper, possibly coming back. Chris Harvey rounding out the top 10. Goes to GOAT on Gil Samaya, right on his rear bumper there. Approaching the halfway point of this race. Does seem that a fuel stop for a splash of fuel will be needed, but more importantly, the drivers are probably going to be desperate for some fresh tires at this point in the race. The right front especially, of course, is going to be the most worn down. GOAT making his intentions clear by running on the inside line down the front stretch. Obviously not going to do much good here. The turns of where he's going to be needing to make these overtakes, but the turns, of course, the best positions for Gil Samaya to defend. Stepping out to the inside once again, with Samaya keeping a block on him. In fact, Samaya appears to, he appears to be outpacing the GOAT down the front stretch, but the GOAT closer and closer to his rear end. Through the turns here. There he goes on the inside once again. He's got a piece of the car side by side. Gil Samaya slides to the outside. That's to go back to the race lead as we start lap 51. We're in the second half of this race now. Really, any moment now, we should start expecting some drivers to be heading into the pits. Let's have a look at your pit lane camera. Not seeing it right now. Gil Samaya is not going to give up that lead very easily here. He's had many great fights for the race lead with the GOAT this season. Obviously the non-championship all-star race, perhaps one of the best examples, one of the most memorable for sure. That was the GOAT trying to catch Gil Samaya and squandering his best chance on the final lap. Where it counts, the GOAT has been able to best Samaya and take the race wins. 13 wins this season for the GOAT. Cannot fault that. Samaya second, Wolf third, Davis fourth, Morgan fifth here. Bracken sixth, Pepper seventh, Trickle 8th. Smith somehow losing a number of positions here. Down to 9th. That's obviously a little bit of consolation to the GOAT. Chris Harvey up to 10th, but it's still going to be a good points finish for Patrick Smith. Nonetheless, what the GOAT needs, of course, are DNFs and his championship rivals. Eric Monaco is past Joe Allen here. He is now in 20th in the top 20. That's Leroy Jenkins into the pits. Looks like he's going to be the first of the drivers out on track to make a pit stop here, just as he was about to get lapped by the GOAT. That's the GOAT nudging Reagan Whitlock, communicating that he wants her out of the way. All eyes going to be on him and the drivers behind to see if and when they come into the pits. Here he goes. That's Gil Samaya in. Eli Wolf falling behind. Bracken, Trickle, and Harvey as well. You see there are a few drivers already in the pits here, including Davis. There's Smith also. And that's the GOAT taking Ebrahimian out. Tactical caution. Dirty moves from the GOAT. We're under yellow for the first time today. The GOAT spinning Ebrahimian to bring out the yellow flag. Obviously in the hopes that it'll do him wonders as he takes a pit stop under the yellow and gets past a lot of the drivers there who pitted under green the lap before. It's not the first time the GOAT has gotten up to this little antic. Will it be the last? Oh dear, Adalberto Franco getting... Not Adalberto Franco. Adalberto Franco's ahead of the GOAT. Reagan Whitlock getting shunted into by Harry Langestein as he tries to come into the pits. I believe he may have already... Oh, okay. No, I guess... Alright, fine. That's how that goes. We didn't even get to see, really, how the race off pit road went, but that's Eli Wolf possibly about to get ahead of the GOAT here. Quite a few cars a lap down, of course. There's the GOAT getting past the pace car while he's on pit road. Gil Samaya's pit crew out. Oh, what happened to Chris Harvey here? Something wrong with Chris Harvey's car, it looks like. Oh, slowing down for the pace car, I see. Gil Samaya must have suffered some damage on pit road. Possibly involved with getting into one of the cars, trying to get into his pit stall here. That's unfortunate. He's gonna get lapped. Oh, what a heartbreak for Gil Samaya here. Gil Samaya is gonna drop to the back of the field. What? That's an interesting parking maneuver there. There's Harry Langestein as well. Gil Samaya, who briefly led this race, is gonna restart a lap down. He's repaired the damage to the car, as you can see. More importantly, things are going to be quite complicated when we restart here. Chris Harvey scored 4th, will lead the field. And at the back of the field, you'll see your race leader, Eli Wolf, ahead of Joey Trickle and the GOAT still in the lead lap. There's Sato and Samaya, who are a lap down. And all these drivers on the inside line, still technically on the lead lap, but about to be lapped. Of course, if Wolf can catch all of them, assuming that Wolf himself isn't overtaken by Trickle and or the GOAT. Only a few cars on the inside lap here, but as you can see, everybody's still in the race. Whitlock, Ebrahimian, Sato, Samaya, Franco, Jenkins, Salin, Johnson, and Langestein 1 lap down here. Again, when we restart, Harvey and Davis are going to lead the field here. They're followed by Bracken, Morgan, Smith, Evans, and Pepper. Chris Harvey, obviously one of the biggest beneficiaries of the race off pit road and the ensuing caution. That's him up into 4th here. Back underway, but obviously all eyes are going to be on your race leader, Eli Wolf, at the back of the field here. Joey Trickle blocking off the goat. Gil Samaya getting left in the dust. Obviously, a lot of damage done to Samaya's engine, unfortunately. Oh dear, that's the goat nearly taking out his teammate, Joey Trickle. Giving him a nice nudge on the inside, making his intentions clear. He wants to get past. He makes it 3 wide very briefly with Trickle and Lego lapped car. And that's the goat ahead of Joey Trickle now. Will he come back at him? We're going to ride on board. I live for the sense of speed. I live for it. It's amazing. Goat on the inside of Eli Wolf. Lap 65 here. Wolf stuck behind Voyle as the goat with a little more space on the inside. He has the nose in front. He could have the inside on Mo Zane here. He doesn't. Wolf still keeping pace on the outside. Goat back in the lead of this race here. Eli Wolf potentially under pressure from Joey Trickle for second. Trickle has the inside. That's always the better place to be. Wolf floundering, stuck behind Voiles, boxed in with Spurley and Burnett. Trickle following once again right behind the goat here. Well, who didn't pick the best line? Trickle did not either. Goat still on him to get past Zane, surprisingly enough. But now Trickle and Wolf have some lapped cars ahead of them. And the goat have some breathing room here. Importantly, oh dear, 3 wide in some places here, but more importantly, how are things shaping up at the front of the field? Franco somehow ahead of Davis, who runs 4th now. Ahead of Christian Bracken and Chris Harvey, who fell to 6th. Morgan 7th here, Smith 8th, Pepper 9th, and Evans rounds out your top 10. He's followed very closely by Colin Cropley here. There are Thomas and Richie Fogelman, PK White, Jana Fogelman. There's the goat trying to get past Jana Fogelman, in fact. Oh dear, that's Shardavold going sideways, and that's us under caution once again. What happened there? Oh dear, that was contact with the goat. Oh, that's a lot of damage to Shardavold's car. Oh dear. Something wrong with Reagan Whitlock there. As you can see, the goat trying to cover off that outside line, perhaps a bit too well. Shardavold gets spun ahead of Austin's car there. And Burnett, meanwhile, goes spinning off the side of Voiles' car. Oh dear, Reagan Whitlock. Our car's been possessed, I think, by the safer barrier in more ways than one. Ooh, yeah. You get that hard lick for oh dear, yeah, Shardavold's car. Reagan Whitlock gets tapped by her teammate and right into the safer barrier. That's terrifying. Oh dearie me. Take a look at your cockpit camera there. That's terrifying. However, this does add an interesting dimension to this race. The whole pack of cars that was ahead of the goat is waved around. So now the goat, your race leader, is going to come to the top of the field behind the pace car, but all these drivers over here effectively getting themselves back onto the lead Lead lap and back in contention for the top positions here. The top three, of course. More specifically, Reagan Whitlock's definitely out of this race after a terrifying crash. Of course, it's the GOAT's fault. I think the GOAT has had quite a tendency to crash into the Chip Ganassi trio this season. I don't know. Oh, man. I'm going to restart on lap 74 here. To the inside line, Zane, Spurley, Austin, Futlego. Monaco runs 21st. Johnson, Wells, Özkan, Charlebois, Hicks, Allen, Flobo, Sato, Taiki, Ebrahimian, Samaya, Burnett, Voiles, Franco, Jenkins. Salin and Langstein, that's right, of course. Shotoval back out onto the racetrack, Whitlock out of the race. When we restart, your top 10, the GOAT, Wolf, Trickle, Davis, Bracken, Harvey, Morgan, Smith, Pepper, and Evans. Behind them, Cropley, Thomas, Reggie Fogelman, PK, White, and Jana Fogelman. Back underway here. GOAT out in front. He ought to be. Spurley and Zane showing a little bit more speed there. Oh, that's a car into the wall. Into the Charlebois, I think. Okay, well, nothing exciting happened there, so I guess we don't really need to follow it anymore. This driver at the... Oh dear, that's okay. That doesn't a caution once again. Something happened with Gil Samaya. Voiles turning Taiki into Samaya's car. That's a caution once again. So, I think with Charlebois was a red herring. Riley Spurley trying to unlap himself from the GOAT as they race back to the caution. Beating and banging. Not really, but... Spurley just barely beats the GOAT to the line. He's going to get his lap back. Good stuff. Okay, whatever. We're back underway on lap 80 here. Nothing much changed in the order except the fact that Samaya, Voiles, and Taiki are at the back of the field, obviously. The GOAT once again with a very good start there. There's Eric Monaco wishing that he were fighting for position with the GOAT ahead and the drivers behind. Look how well Eric Monaco did at the first Rockingham race, the second race of the season, obviously. And nope, instead now he finds himself a lap down, running 20th. Not too bad in the point standings there, but again, Smith. Where's Smith? Okay, Smith fell back to 17 for some reason, but actually he pitted. So, there's your reason. And things are so bunched up here. We gotta take a ride on board with some random driver. Why not Patrick Smith? Let's take a look at Patrick Smith's onboard camera here and appreciate the whole host of cars that he's going to need to get past if he wants to come back and finish in the top 10 once again. Obviously, gambling on his ability to do so, considering his pit stop here. He's going to have fresher tires and possibly some useful adjustments to the car for the last 20 laps of this race here. Yep, there he goes. Definitely faster than a lot of these drivers, but most of them are already a lap down. 13th spot here, so 10. He's at the 10. How did that happen? Alright, so that's cool. Patrick Smith already back at the 10th spot here. Next in ninth is Eli Wolf, so he has a long way to go if he can catch Eli Wolf. 15 laps to go. The GOAT still leads here. Zane and Monaco ahead of Davis, who runs second. Bracken third. Trickle fourth. Harvey fifth. Morgan sixth. Pepper and Evans seventh and eighth. Wolf ninth. And as mentioned, Smith rounds out your top 10 at the moment. Gil Samaya. Very unfortunate day today. Started third. Led a few laps. Running in the top 5 until the string of cautions came out. Then he suffered some sort of misfortune on pit road. Then he got crashed into just a few laps ago. Now he runs 37th. That's the deal with racing. It's not like chess. You could be doing so well and leading very consistently. Like, you could be dominating the field, but one little mistake will just ruin your day right there. Again, it's not like football at all, where if you score 9 touchdowns and you give up 1, you're still 8 touchdowns ahead. But if you're leading the race by 3 laps and you crash, well, your 3-lap lead could just evaporate right then and there. You could be winning the chess game. You could have a winning position. You could even be threatening checkmate. You could be a few pieces ahead, but make the worst mistake possible, and suddenly the initiative turns in your opponent's favor. Or in fact, you get yourself mated. 10 laps to go for the GOAT. Is he going to blow his engine here? Who knows? Well, I do, obviously. Monaco basically doing everything that's been demanded of him this entire race. Going to be a disappointing finish. They'll still have the points lead, but Patrick Smith is on track to close the gap, meaning that we'll still have a contest going into the final race of the season at Homestead, Miami. Monaco looking poised to finish 19th today. Is Mo Zane doing a very good job of holding off Max Davis, actually, not unlike Chris Harvey and Leroy Jenkins blocking off the GOAT from the top 2 in the first Rockingham race. Chris Harvey showed a lot of pace at that race. And now he's doing it again, but this time for a top 5. Aren't we all pleased with that development? Gil Samaya about to get lapped. 39 cars left in the contest. Only Reagan Whitlock out of the race. Teammate Ashley Schonewald coming home for a disappointing finish today. And Ashley's hopes lie with Amy Hicks, who runs 28th. Not that great. Patrick Smith to settle for 10th, but a top 10 is a top 10, especially at this point in the season. As you can see, Lucas Evans runs 9th now. Eli Wolf up to 8th. There's Pepper in 7th. Bracken 6th. Morgan 5th. Harvey and Trickle duking it out for 3rd. Chris Harvey looking good for 3rd place here with 4 laps to go. Max Davis looking somewhat comfortable in 2nd here. Joey Trickle, meanwhile, once again looking like he's struggling and about to lose some positions. Harvey beat him to the line for 3rd. Now Steve Morgan could do so for 4th. Bracken for 5th even. Pepper having a look. Oh, what's gone wrong with Jasper Motorsports today? Where are their dominant engines now, huh? Two to go for the GOAT. Trickle falling all the way to 8th, it looks That's not what he needs. The white flag is out. This is the final lap. Lap. Lippity-loo. 14 wins. 14 wins for the GOAT. How could this happen? Who let this happen? Checkered flag waves, and number 3 goes to victory lane once again. And the world is probably a better place for it. Sorry, I meant worse place. Well, whatever. You know the drill right now, the GOAT does some donuts. He does this Polish victory lap. Ah, God. Ah, man. Tries to find victory lane. There is none. Whatever. Okay. That's that race done. Cool. The GOAT wins. Led 73 of 99 laps. Max Davis 2nd. Chris Harvey 3rd. Bracken started and finished 4th. Morgan 5th. Pepper 6th. Wolf 7th. Trickle 8th. Evans 9th. And Patrick Smith rounds out your top 10. Behind them, Thomas, Cropley, Spurley, Reggie Fogelman, White, Jana Fogelman, Estacio PK. Last year lead lap finishers here. Zane, Monaco, and Footlego came home 1 lap down here. Yeah, okay, there we go. Yeah, okay. Bottom 20, Allen, Erskine, Wells, Franco, Flobo, Charlebois, Burnett, Hicks, Ebrahimian, Taiki, Voiles, Sato, Jenkins, Stalin, Austin, Shaunavald. Samaya, Johnson, and Langestein finished 2 laps down today. And Reagan Whitlock crashed out on lap 67 or so. Cool. Take a look at your standings here. Again, only 3 drivers can win it. But in order to win it, the GOAT basically has to win the next race while ensuring that these 2 finish at the back of the field. And far back at the field, as in he has to crash them off on the first lap or so. It's all between Monaco and Smith. Monaco, 23-point advantage. So not only does Smith have to beat Monaco, he needs to beat him by a number of positions. Monaco, of course, is going to be doing everything in his power to prevent that from happening. There's your point standings right there. Again, the 2 drivers to look forward to duking it out at the final race of the season. Monaco and Smith, the GOAT with the outside shot. Just going to have to wait and see how that goes down. Rest of your points positions here. Bottom 20. Franco still last. He didn't finish well this race, did he? For all of Franco's pace, he came home 24th. Okay, 24th ain't bad, I guess. Oh, okay, I thought he finished in the 30s somewhere where we expect him to. But yep, we are at the final race of the season, ladies and gentlemen, the Ford 400 at Homestead Miami Speedway. I'm feeling sad just thinking about it, but we'll get straight into it. It's been a hand of food. It's been a time and a half, an honor, and I'll see you in the next video.